Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mike's Bar and Grill in downtown Berea. I'm Matt Florjancic, and for the next 60 minutes, we will be talking Baldwin-Wallace Yellow Jacket Athletics on the 10th episode of the BW Athletics Roadshow. On today's show, we'll take a look first at the week that was in Yellow Jacket sports. Then we'll be joined by several special guests, including men's basketball coach Tom Heil, Cleveland Basketball Classic founder and Magnificat head coach Danny Gallagher, and wrestling All-American Doug Byrne. And then we will close the show out by taking a look at the week ahead for Yellow Jacket Athletics. Starting it off, taking a look at the week that was for the women's basketball team. The 12th ranked Yellow Jackets hit the road for the first time this season to take on Wittenberg University inside the Pam Evans Smith Arena. The Yellow Jackets continued their hot start to the season with a 56-43 victory over the Tigers to improve to 3-0. They were led in the win over Wittenberg by Emily Irwin, who scored a game-high 14 points, and sophomore forward Bella Valent added 11 points and 6 rebounds. Sophomore forward Kaylee Ressler from Napoleon, Ohio, led the Yellow Jackets with a game-high 8 rebounds and added 6 points. 5 Yellow Jackets finished the game with at least 5 points and 5 rebounds in what was another all-around team effort from Coach Hare's bunch. Then the Yellow Jackets on the next night defeated Hanover College out of Indiana 71-48 on day 2 of the Wittenberg Invitational inside the Pam Evans Smith Arena. The Yellow Jackets extended their win streak to 4 straight with the 23-point victory over the Panthers. And once again, they were led in scoring by Emily Irwin, who scored a career-high 19 points against the Panthers, and she hit 4 of her 7 attempts from three-point range. Ressler notched her second career double-double as she recorded a career-high of 15 points with 10 rebounds. And junior guard Carolyn Wolkley out of Menor had an all-around great game, totaling a career-high 8 assists, and she added 5 points and 5 rebounds in the victory. The 22nd nationally ranked Baldwin-Wallace University wrestling team won the annual BW Invitational inside the Lou Higgins Center Fieldhouse last weekend. BW finished first out of 9 teams with a point total of 150.5. The Yellow Jackets edged out second-place Delaware Valley University by just 2 points. BW had 16 top 8 finishers, 13 top 5 placers, 4 individual champions, and 4 runner-up finishes. Junior and number 8 nationally ranked 133-pounder Jaden Hinton led the way as he won his weight class. He had 3 straight major decisions to start the Invitational, a 16-6 decision over Cole McKinley from Lourdes College out of the NAIA, then a major decision over Taylor Weaver from Delaware Valley, and a major decision over Joey Ingman from Trine before he earned a regular decision with an 11-5 victory over Ryan Kelly in the championship match. Senior 141-pound wrestler Zach Anderson also won his weight class. He won his first match by pinfall, then won an extra time decision over Jimmy Belaze from Lourdes College. Then he had a tech fall and a decision to get into the finals, where he earned a major decision victory with a 10-1 score over Jet Boots from Trine University. Sophomore 165-pound Donovan Palmer out of North Ridgeville and Lutheran West High School, who was ranked 10th in the country at 174 pounds, won his weight class after getting a bye in the first round. He opened with a technical fall and then had 3 straight decisions, with the last coming against Derek Coleman of Lourdes in extra time. Senior All-American 197-pounder Doug Byrne won his weight class, and he did so in impressive fashion. Byrne doesn't charge by the hour, and it's a good thing because he put in very quick work of his opponents, winning by pinfall in all 4 matches, 51 seconds in the opening round, 1 minute and 8 seconds in the second round, 2 minutes, 2 seconds in the third round, and 24 seconds in the championship match as he pinned Steven Andrasic from Case Western Reserve in the finals. And senior 149-pounder Connor DeBow finished second place, while freshman 157-pounder Manny Scrotus finished in second place. Sophomore 174-pounder Carter Lloyd also tallied a second-place finish, and junior heavyweight wrestler Mitch Sanders also finished in second place. Junior academic All-OAC 157-pounder Justin Ritchie was a third-place finisher, as was sophomore 184-pounder Jack Kane. And junior academic All-OAC 165-pounder Hunter Kopnewski. Senior 285-pounder Ben de Guzman was a third-place finisher as well, while freshman 165-pounder Remington Bauer was a fifth-place finisher. Freshman 184-pounder Sean Earl Jr. placed sixth. Sophomore 174-pounder Brandon Burkhart placed seventh. And junior academic All-Ohio Athletic Conference 141-pounder Robbie Palmieri was a seventh-place finisher. And some individual honors earned by the wrestling team this week, as BW, my guest later this evening, BW Senior All-American 197-pounder Doug Byrne was named the Ohio Athletic Conference Wrestler of the Week. Byrne garners his first career accolade after posting a 5-0 record last week, all by pinfall, in leading the Yellow Jackets to a 38-3 OAC opening victory over Heidelberg last Tuesday, and then the team championship at the annual BW Invitational last Saturday. In his first action of the season, Byrne pinned Braden Call from Heidelberg in 1 minute 49 seconds, and then closed out the week by winning the 197-pound title at the BW Invitational with 4 straight pinfalls. For his career, Byrne has a record of 58-12, with 35 of those victories coming via pinfall, 6 via major decision, and 1 technical fall. He is a 2-time All-Ohio Athletic Conference selection, a National Wrestling Coaches Association All-American third-team selection, and All-Central Region performer. Off the mat, Byrne is an NWCA Scholar All-American athlete who is studying cybersecurity analysis. On the hardwood, the men's basketball team took to the road for the first time this season, and they fell to a Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology out of Indiana by a final score of 66-57 in the first game of the Great Lakes Invitational hosted by Wabash College on Chadwick Court. BW was led by senior All-OAC and academic All-OAC guard Anthony Mazzio, who led all scorers with a game-high 19 points. Senior forward Jackson Simmons out of Wadsworth added 11 points and a team-high 8 rebounds, while sophomore guard Ashton Price from Bay Village tallied 11 points, and senior All-OAC guard Jake Snyder from Stowe and Archbishop Hoban High School contributed a team-high 5 assists. The next night, the Yellow Jackets again found themselves on the wrong end of the scoreboard as they fell to Benedictine University in a non-conference game, 87-70 on the final day of the Great Lakes Invitational hosted by Wabash College at Chadwick Court. Mazzio once again led the way, scoring 21 points and pulling down 6 rebounds. Junior academic All-OAC guard Luke Driscoll from Carmel, California, added 12 points on a perfect 6 of 6 shooting night. And sophomore forward Zoltan Nagy from Lakewood and St. Edward High School led the defense with 2 blocks. In the pool, the women's Baldwin-Wallace women's swimming and diving team finished in 6th place at the 3-day Oberlin College Invitational in the car pool inside the Phillips Physical Education Center. BW is 7-1 on the season. They were 6th of 12 teams with a point total of 439.5. Host Oberlin College was the champion with 734.5 points. The Yellow Jacket individual highlights included junior Tia Reed placing second in a 100-yard breaststroke and in the 200-yard breaststroke. Senior Aubrey Siren placed 10th in the 200-yard butterfly. Senior All-Ohio Athletic Conference performer Bella Ratino finished 3rd in the freestyle event and 7th in the 500-yard freestyle. She also placed 8th in the 200-yard freestyle. Sophomore All-OAC performer Marley Dondorfer finished 3rd in the 200-yard individual medley, placed 3rd in the 400-yard individual medley, and 4th in the 200 backstroke. Junior Lauren Sliff placed 22nd in the 50-yard freestyle, while sophomore Athena Pantoa placed 14th in the 100-yard butterfly, and freshman Morgan Ingalls placed 14th in the 100-yard backstroke. The 200-yard freestyle relay team placed 9th. The 400-yard freestyle relay team placed 9th. The 800-yard freestyle relay team finished 4th. The 200-yard medley relay team finished in 8th, and the 400-yard medley relay team placed 4th. For the second time in her career, Baldwin-Wallace sophomore All-Ohio Athletic Conference performer Mallory Dondorfer from Mentor, Ohio, was selected as this week's Ohio Athletic Conference Swimmer of the Week. She earned the honor after competing in 7 events as she helped her team place 6th out of 12 at the Oberlin College Invitational last weekend. The Baldwin-Wallace men's swimming and diving team placed 4th at the 3-day Oberlin College Invitational at the Phillips Physical Education Center. BW is a perfect 7-0 on the season. They placed 4th out of 12 teams with a total of 504.5 points. Alfred State College was the champion with 832.5 points. The individual highlights include freshman Jason Heiser, who placed 2nd in the 1-meter dive and 2nd in the 3-meter dive. Sophomore Gannon Millette placed 2nd in the 200-yard freestyle and 7th in the 500-yard freestyle. Sophomore Tommy McCreary finished 6th in the 200-yard butterfly and placed 7th in the 200-yard individual medley. He also had an 8th place finish in the 100-yard butterfly. Junior Mason Kuhlman finished 11th in the 50-yard freestyle in a time of 22.19 seconds and 12th in the 100-yard freestyle, while sophomore Jason Tafoya placed 4th in the 400-yard individual medley. Senior Alec McNeil finished 20th in the 100-yard breaststroke. Freshman Nolan Zook finished 10th in the 100-yard backstroke and 5th in the 100-yard backstroke. Sophomore Gavin Squirt placed 15th in the 200-yard breaststroke, and freshman Kevin Meyer placed 12th in his freestyle event. The 200-yard freestyle relay team placed 7th. The 400-yard freestyle team placed 6th. The 800-yard freestyle team placed 4th, while the 200-yard individual medley relay team placed 8th, and the 400 medley relay team also placed 8th. On women's cross country, sophomore Hope Murphy out of Mogador competed at the 2022 NCAA Division III Cross Country Championships hosted by Olivet College at Forest Acres Golf Course in East Lansing, Michigan. Murphy concluded her sophomore season by finishing 90th in the 6K run in a time of 23 minutes and 22.4 seconds after coming into the meet, placing 8th in the Division III Great Lakes Cross Country Regional Championships. Before regionals, Murphy placed 7th at the OAC Championships. Last year, she finished 194th in the 6K run at the national meet, and this is her second time qualifying for the NCAA Cross Country Championships. And rounding things out, the football team received some postseason honors as Baldwin-Wallace University senior defensive back Anthony Kendall from Port Richey, Florida, and River Ridge High School was named the Ohio Athletic Conference Lee J. Tressel Defensive Back of the Year to lead 7 football players selected to the All-OAC team. The 7 players selected included Kendall, who was BW's lone first-team selection, senior running back John Murray Jr., and senior offensive lineman George Newcomb, along with junior linebacker Mason Levasseur and junior defensive lineman Jordan Smith were named to the second team. Junior wide receiver Elijah Arnett and senior linebacker Dylan O'Donohue were tabbed as honorable mention All-OAC performers. Kendall earned the Lee Tressel Award and his second overall All-OAC honor after being an honorable mention selection in the spring of 2021. He started all 10 games and led the OAC and tied for 13th in the country with a career-high 12 pass breakups. Kendall was 3rd in the league with a career-best 3 interceptions. He was 4th on the team with a career-high 56 tackles. He also recorded a career-best 4 tackles for loss, his first career forced fumble, and first sack at Capitol on October 29th. For his career, Kendall has appeared in 31 games with 127 tackles, including 10 for lost yardage, 20 pass breakups, 6 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and a sack. Off the field, he is an academic All-OAC selection, a Dean's List student, Jacket Scholar, and member of the Chi Alpha Sigma Honor Society. That's our look back at the week that was. Now we're going to welcome in some of our guests. And we're going to start off on the mat. We're going to welcome in Doug Byrne, first and foremost. First, Doug, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome to the BW Athletics Roadshow. How are you today?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, you should be real good after getting that announcement earlier today. Congratulations on being named the Ohio Athletic Conference Wrestler of the Week. How did it feel to hear that announcement?
Pretty good. I actually heard about 2 hours ago. I think I saw it on Instagram, so I was pretty happy. I think that's the first time I've ever gotten that in my 4 years here, so I was pretty excited.
How much of that honor, though, do you attribute to the work that your teammates help you put in the wrestling room? And talking with Coach Gibbs, he mentions that sometimes the hardest matches are the ones nobody sees because they're taking place in practice. Did you kind of view this as a team honor as well as an individual one?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they say iron sharpens iron, man sharpens man, and it's the same in the wrestling room. You know, my teammates, my coaches make me better. The only reason I've been able to accomplish some of the things I have is because of my teammates and the work they've put in alongside me.
Talk about that work and that bond that you build in that wrestling room. How important is that to the success of a wrestling team?
I'd say very important. I like to I don't know. I think we do build a lot of trust and camaraderie. Like I'll walk off a mat and I'll see 7 dudes, slap my hand, congratulating me after like the first round of a tournament, and it's just, you get a lot of support from the guys on your team, and it's really nice.
How nice is it also to start off the OAC campaign with a dominant statement victory over Heidelberg last week?
It was a lot of fun. It was, I don't know, I was really excited to get back on the mat after a long off season. I wanted to go out there and get the job done. Just go out there and do what we've been taught in the room, and leave it up to the work we put in beforehand.
You mentioned it was a long off season. What made it a long off season for you, and what were you able to accomplish to get yourself match ready?
One of the things I thought was I was coming off an injury and just trying to get back in the swing of things of wrestling consistently, working out with the team consistently, just getting back into the swing of things like they had been in previous years. That was one of the things in the off season. But besides that, it was also nice living on campus with the team because I got to train with them and stuff the whole summer.
Going back a few years with the COVID situation, which is hopefully behind us, what was that experience like in terms of, I mean, it's a very physical sport. It's not like you can practice on your own. You can do certain things, but there's only so much you can do on your own. How were you able to stay in the shape that you were when you didn't have that competition for an extended period of time?
I mean, the only answer I can give is we did our best. It's like we did the most we could do with with a bad situation at the time. I remember it was my sophomore year. We were drilling in pods. We would come into practice and they'd split us off into groups of 2 or 3 guys, and it was like those were the guys you were working out with for basically the whole season, just for contact tracing. So it was it was just like trying to work around some of the restrictions we had in the years. And it was like trying to put in as much work as you can with the restraints that are put on you.
Did you guys get sick of each other after a while because it was such a small group?
Kinda. Yeah, I'd say so. Although, you kind of get, you kind of got to suck it up after a while. So, I'd say so.
So talk to me a little bit about this performance that you put on in the BW Invitational. I mean, I don't even know that dominant is the right word, because you went out there and you pinned 4 guys and your longest match was barely over 2 minutes. So, I mean, what was it about the matchups that allowed you to have the success that you did? And you're kind of setting a high bar for yourself where you're winning by pinfall all the time.
I don't know. I didn't really have – I mean, I had some expectations coming into the tournament based off like previous experience, but I wasn't more so concerned about going out there and I don't know, looking for a specific outcome or trying to pin everybody. It was just about trying to wrestle my match, and if it came, if a pin came, or if a certain way I went, a way I wanted to win came, I'd take it.
So you're not picky about how you win. You just want to make sure you cash in those opportunities to finish the match.
Yeah. I mean, I try to wrestle the same match every time. I try not to look at my opponents as this guy's ranked a certain number, this guy's unranked. It's like I try to go out there and I try to wrestle everyone as if they're going to be the national champ, and that gives me the best opportunity to compete at a high level.
Does it give you a little extra satisfaction though when you do get that pinfall?
Oh yeah, for sure. My dad always told me, he's like, why are you going to go out there and spend the whole match when you just pin him in 30 seconds or something? It's
well, you made good on Dad's advice, that's for sure. You go out in the championship match and you win in 24 seconds. Is it the fastest you've ever won a wrestling match?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe there was a tournament my freshman year, but I'd say that's probably one of my fastest matches I've ever had.
Yeah, one of. That's how scary this is. One of. You kind of have that boxer's mentality. You don't want it to go to this. Not that there are scorecards in college wrestling, but you don't want to have it be up for debate. You just want to handle your business when you take the mat.
Yeah. I try to be a really consistent. I try to be really consistent with my pressure and the way I wrestle. I don't try to take breaks. I really try to go out there and just work pressure on my opponent until either I win or I'm so tired I can barely move and he can barely move. Some of my toughest matches I've had is it goes all the way to the third and I gotta almost crawl off the mat. I'm so tired.
Yeah. Cardio and conditioning are huge proponents to successful wrestling. How do you sharpen your cardio when you don't have very long matches during this stretch? I mean, what do you do to keep in shape, because at some point you are going to have to wrestle a longer match or might have to?
Yeah. No, I definitely plan on having tougher matches in the later season. Probably one of the main ways. After we're done wrestling, we gotta hop on Aerodyne bike, and then we gotta go through some cardio. They get us right when we're done wrestling and we're at our most tired. And we kind of gotta do some sprints. But our practices do plenty when it comes to cardio. Our coaches are really good with the work we put in practice, and I'm very confident in our team as a whole and our cardio. I think it's shown in some of the matches our team has had as a whole.
Speaking of your team, I mean, you had 4 individual champions and 4 runners-up finishes at the BW Invitational. Do you ever kind of marvel at some of what your teammates are accomplishing, especially a guy like Jaden Hinton, who's having a really phenomenal start to the season, and some of the other weight classes that are really well represented by BW athletes?
Yeah, I'm super excited for what my teammates are going to do this season. I don't know. I love watching my teammates wrestle because they do fight a lot when it comes to competition, and it's just I like the way our team wrestles, and the work they've put in, it definitely shows on the mat, and it is I do marvel at that sometimes.
You've been with the program for a while now. Coming into the season after the team success last year, top 10 ranking, top 5 ranking at one point. Now you're ranked 22nd in the country. Does that kind of put a chip on everybody's shoulder to know that, hey, yeah, they still consider us one of the best, but they have a lot of teams in front of us?
I'm sure there's some guys on the team that think that. I've tried not to look at rankings, but I think if anything that would fire us up to try and compete even harder. Or honestly, I don't know if it would affect us if they had us unranked, or if we were ranked a higher number. I think we've been trained to go out there and wrestle like it's the most important match is the next match. Rankings don't matter as much as some people may think they do.
When you were looking at your opportunities to wrestle at the collegiate level after a standout career at Wycliffe High School, just down the road a piece in Lake County, what was it about BW that really stood out and that you wanted to be a part of, and how have you developed in your time with the program?
When I originally was looking at BW, I remember one of my teammates, Josh Decatur. A guy I knew, Josh Decatur, who was coaching at a local club, told our assistant coach, Jason Zasher, about me, and they brought me up to a visit, and I just remember thinking, or just hearing all the guys, they all shook my hand. Like 30 of them got out of practice, and they were on their way to the next workout or whatever, and they shook my hand, and it was just a really cool experience. And then when I got to talk to them later, they were talking about how their culture is very strong and how everybody is really good friends. It was just a really team-oriented culture, and that's what really drew me in. In terms of how much I've developed since joining, I'd say my love for the sport has skyrocketed. I like to think that I've gained some skills in terms of doing hard things when it comes to stuff I don't want to do, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the sport. But besides that, I've also made great friends along the way. I got friends I still talk to that were fifth years when I was a freshman, and I've made friends with some of the younger guys in our team. So it's one big family.
Being a part of the greater BW family, academically speaking, you get it done in the classroom as well. You're a scholar athlete, and you're majoring in cybersecurity analysis. What drove you to pick that major, and what is it that excites you about what you're studying?
I was originally in a Cisco Networking Academy tech program in high school.
Okay.
And it was a super interesting program I got to do. I got a couple certifications from it. So I knew it was just kind of a thing that I wanted to get into. And when I decided I was going to college, I was looking at schools, and I saw that BW had a cybersecurity option for their major, or they had a degree. And I thought, man, that sounds cool. I knew I wanted to go into computer science, so I was thinking, that's more of a specific realm. I feel like I could maybe specify in certain things in that as opposed to a general computer science degree. But recently this summer I got to have an internship at the Cleveland Clinic working as a cybersecurity intern, and that was super interesting. I got to do some hands-on stuff with some of the ideas and stuff I'll be doing in the future once I graduate with the degree. But some of the stuff that excites me about the field is, it's constantly changing. You got to be a lifelong learner. Technology keeps evolving, and you got to evolve with it. So it's something's always going to surprise you in the field, from what I know. And there's still so much I got to learn. So I'm really excited for my career after BW.
Is that going to take place after this year, you think, your career, or are you going to – do you have another year of eligibility left?
I do have another year of eligibility. I think that's still up in the air. Wasn't too sure, but I thought there was a 1-year extension for my degree, so that if I take another year, I can graduate with a master's in cybersecurity. So that was something me and my coach and my family were definitely thinking about. Yeah, but may or may not. I don't know.
And before we let you go, Doug, what's it going to take for you to become an All-American again and get where you want to go? And ultimately, I'm guessing you want to be, at the national tournament, getting an All-American, but also finishing with your hand raised in your last match of the season.
It's going to take consistency. Our coach really stresses, Coach Gibbs really stresses, don't let our highs get us too high, don't let our lows get us too low. The season's long, and even if I do have a few easy matches here and there, it's not a cakewalk. It's not a cakewalk for anybody. So just trying to keep a level head, just trying to trying to be consistent with the way I train, with the way I live. Live the JTM lifestyle. It's makes things a whole lot easier.
All right, well, Doug, thank you very much for the
thank
time.
you.
Congratulations on the OAC honor, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
That's Doug Byrne, the OAC Wrestler of the Week, after recording 5 pinfalls in all 5 of his matches last week. An unbelievable statistic, an unbelievable week, and he was recognized for it by the conference. Right now we're going to welcome in Danny Gallagher, who is the head basketball coach at Magnificent High School, and also with the Cleveland Basketball Classic, which will be taking place on the campus of Baldwin-Wallace University this Saturday with girls basketball action. It's 5 games Saturday, 5 games on Sunday. The boys will take the court on Sunday afternoon and play through the evening. Thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Gallagher. I appreciate the time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
First and foremost, you got an exciting weekend of basketball on tap, and you're going to be a part of it from a director standpoint and from a coaching standpoint. You got your hands full this weekend, huh?
I do, yeah. It's been a lot of work, a lot of fun putting it together, but I'm excited for it to be here and for it to get started and start rolling.
So talk to me a little bit about how the teams are chosen for this. You've got representatives from all over the area. You've got Bay Village versus Padua, CVCA Gilmore, Olmsted Falls Reynoldsburg, Magnificat versus Berea Mid-Park, and then St. Joe's Academy versus Medina Highland in the girls' games. And then you have Padua and Hawkins, St. Ed's, Medina, Gilmore, Toledo, St. John's, Solon and Richmond Heights, and Olmsted Falls and Benedictine on the men's side. How did the teams get selected? Is it something that they have to apply for to get in, or? Yeah,
no, there was no application process this year. That maybe, if the event goes well and gets a little more popular, maybe we'll start something like that. But in thinking about doing this event, I've been thinking about it for a few years now, and part of it was, as a coach, you meet so many good people and make so many friends throughout all of this. And before I was the coach at Magnificat, I coached at St. Ed's. So I know coaches on the boys' side. I know coaches on the girls' side. And part of doing this was also to be able to spend some time with people that you care about, that I coach either alongside with or have a lot of respect for, that I've coached against. Different programs that I feel do things the right way, or their kids act really respectful, or the coaches just really know what they're doing and take a lot of pride in their work and their game. So I try to target people like that really enjoy the game, that would really enjoy an event like this, that's honoring something bigger than just our teams or our kids. It's really honoring our entire city in the game of basketball.
Yeah, talk about the heritage in Greater Cleveland with the sport of basketball and just some of the really good teams that we've seen go through here. It's a lot bigger of a tradition than people give it credit for. Everybody thinks about football, and then in the wintertime they think about wrestling and some ice hockey as well. But really, basketball has a really rich tradition in Northeast Ohio at the high school level.
Yeah, big time. We've had some of the best players. You look at LeBron James, he's in Northeast Ohio. Arguably the best or one of the best players that ever play the game. But even just locally, we figured it out today that Clark Kellogg is going to do a video for our event that will play at the event before games. People say that Clark Kellogg not only may be the best high school player in Cleveland, but maybe the best high school player ever. The tradition, as you said, is definitely rich. I just, as a young kid growing up in Cleveland, going to games from the time I was 2 or 3 years old, got to witness and see so many really good players, see the different rivalries, see the different communities that really rally behind their school. And to me, that was just so much fun. That's why I continue to be a high school coach now. And there's been nothing like this in our city to really put that in the forefront. So in thinking about this for the last few years and now finally taking the final step to do it, I think, it's just going to be a fun weekend of honoring the sport that, a lot of people love around here.
Yeah. What in your mind will make this weekend a complete 100% success?
Just that everyone comes and has fun and enjoys it. Good basketball. We, of course, want good competitive games, and I think we put together a bunch of good competitive games on different levels. But just for the kids to come in, enjoy their experience in a beautiful facility on a college floor, coaches to have this experience early in the year to play in a bigger venue, and then for everyone to just enjoy each other. I think, we spend so much time competing against one another and trying to be better than one another, and of course that's going to happen in the games, but also to take a step back and take a little bit of time to enjoy one another and appreciate the work that, the other coaches put in, and then get to see them play, with 5 games on each day.
Have you taken some lessons from other classics or showcases that you've been a part of as a head coach and applied to the Cleveland Basketball Classic here?
So we've been fortunate enough at Mags to play in the Classic in the country.
I was going to ask about that. That's one of the, if you've never been to a small town that enjoys their sports more than Berlin, Ohio, I recommend that you go.
Yeah, so Bryce McKee is partnered in the Classic in the country with Dave Schleball and that group from Berlin Highland, and he's helped me out with this a lot. So some of the ideas the things that we're doing definitely stem a little bit from that. That event is always over Martin Luther King Day weekend, and they play videos of some of the speeches that Dr. King said. So, my idea, kind of a spin-off of that, was let's go and find some of the greats of Cleveland basketball, have them make videos, and play those before the games. So definitely a little bit different, but also kind of similar in certain ways.
When you look at the schedule for games, obviously you're going to be focused on your game at Berea Mid-Park against Berea Mid-Park on Saturday, but are there some other matchups that you're really looking forward to watching just as a fan over this 2 days?
Yeah, I've said this on a couple podcasts already, but Olmsted Falls and Reynoldsburg and the girls' side, I'm always impressed by Olmsted Falls. Coach Jordan Eaton does an incredible job with this program. They've been the best team in the Cleveland area over the last 5 years. Watching their kids and the way their kids interact with not only each other but their coaches and their community is something really special and something that we're really striving to build and are on the right path of doing that at Mags. We're not as strong as they are at that yet, and I realize that takes a lot of time to get to that point. But they're playing the defending Division I state champs in Reynoldsburg, who they lost a few players, but they kind of reload every year. So I would say on the girls' side, that is kind of the big matchup of the day. Berea Mid-Park's always a tough team, so our game will be a good, tough, competitive game. And then St. Joe's Academy and Medina Highland, they both made regionals last year. So, again, just another really good competitive game with, two programs with a lot of history and tradition to them as well. On the boys' side, I'm looking forward to being able to see St. Ed's play. I coached at St. Ed's. I went to St. Ed's. I came up under Eric Flannery. So that's going to be fun to be able to watch them play. But the game before them is pretty interesting, Padua against Hawken. Brian Ansbury is the head coach at Padua. He's one of my best friends. Josh Nugent's the head coach at Hawken. He's one of my best friends. And the three of us actually coach together at St. Ed's. So now we've kind of all branched off, and we're running our own programs. And they've never gotten to play each other. So I think it'll be kind of special to have two St. Ed's alums, guys that coach with each other, now coaching against each other before St. Ed's plays. I think that'll be special for Eric to be able to come in and watch that. And then, the later 3 games, I think there's just loads of talent in those games. Gilmore, Toledo, St. John's. Gilmore's returning state runner-up at Division II. They lost to St. Vincent St. Mary, who was probably the best team in the state, regardless of division last year. Mm-hmm. And then Richmond Heights is defending Division IV state champs, and they're favored to repeat, heavy favorites in Division IV again. So, yeah, I think there's loads of individual talent, really good teams, really good coaches, really good communities, and that was my goal in putting this together.
Yeah, well, I know you will be paying special attention to that second game on Sunday. I'm going to be paying special attention to the first game because, like you to St. Ed's, I myself am a Padua alum, and I enjoy seeing the Bruins play any chance that I get, and hopefully they'll put on a good show for everybody. Yeah. But, overall, before I let you go, I want to know how much work went into getting this done on the back end. Everybody sees the games and the box scores at the end, but really, how long have you been working to get this idea across the finish line?
I think the first conversation I had with Steve about doing this at BW was back in March. So it started then. My idea of it started before that, but the work started back in March. And, there wasn't a week that went by where I wasn't doing something for a couple hours. And then I would say the last month and a half, I've been doing stuff every single day for it. And it's not major work. It's just all little things to tie it together to try and make it a special experience. I mean, I could have 5 games on Saturday, 5 games on Sunday, hire refs, tell everyone to show up, and that's it. But, we got sponsors for a hospitality room. We got sponsors for T-shirts for all the participants. We have our own book person. Like a lot of these showcases, you show up and you've got to do your own book, and there's not an official book. We're going to do that. We're using the BW announcer, which is going to be fun. I've heard he's very entertaining at the BW games. So, adding special things like that to just make it a better experience, not only for the kids and coaches, but for the spectators as well, has definitely been challenging, been a lot of work, but I feel like I've stayed on top of it. Everything's ready and set to go, and we're excited.
Yeah, and you should be, because the slate of games is absolutely incredible. Again, that's 5 games on Saturday. Those are the girls' games, and then 5 games on Sunday the boys will take to the court, and there'll be some outstanding talent both of those days. One of the aspects to the Classic in the country that you referenced earlier was coaches. They bring in a lot of coaches from the college ranks to help scout these young players. Is that an element to this weekend? And you don't have to name drop, but just are we going to see some college coaches in the stands?
We're in hopes that we'll definitely see some. We've gotten some feedback that potentially there'll be some coaches there. We don't have a big list like the Classic in the country. That's such an established event, but it's definitely something that we want to build for in the future.
Absolutely.
To make this an event where kids have that opportunity to not only play on a college floor in a really nice facility, but also maybe gain a little exposure out of it as well.
And before we let you go, we'll talk about your team.
Okay.
What are we expecting out of the Magnificat team this year?
Yeah, our girls have worked really hard. I'm really excited about this group. We have girls in all 4 grades on the varsity team, and all 4 grades will contribute to the team. We have a really good group of seniors who are so selfless. They've gone through 3 years of the program, and they've seen some ups and downs over the last few years, and they've done an incredible job, laying the groundwork and making sure everyone knows what our values are and the standards that we've established. Okay, and then we have really talented younger kids. A few juniors that are extremely talented. Our sophomore class is probably the most talented in the area, if not the state. And then, like I said, we have a freshman on varsity that will contribute as well. But we've really made a point to play really tough, hard-nosed, half-court defense. In the past, we've played a lot of full court. This year, I think you'll see us, more rugged, half-court, man-to-man style defense with still a fast-paced offense where we're looking to move the ball quickly, get it up the floor quickly, share it with one another as much as we possibly can, and we are a really good outside shooting team. We probably have 6 or 7 girls that consistently make outside shots. So try and get the ball to the basket, get fouled, or shoot a kick-out 3 is what we'll be looking to do.
Well, Coach, thank you very much for joining me to talk about Magnificat basketball and the Cleveland Basketball Classic. We wish you luck on this first event, and hopefully it's the first of many in a partnership with BW to play those gyms at Ersprung Gymnasium.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Everyone at BW has been outstanding, incredible to work with, and cannot wait to start the event on Saturday.
Awesome. Well, best of luck again, Coach. We appreciate the time. That's Coach Danny Gallagher from Magnificat High School and also the founder of the Cleveland Basketball Classic, which will be a 10-game showcase over the Thanksgiving weekend with 5 girls games on Saturday and 5 boys games on Sunday. Right now, we're going to stay with the Hardwood and talk to BW men's basketball coach Tom Heil. Coach, thank you very much for joining us. Greatly appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate being here.
First and foremost, Coach, I know that the season's not where you wanted to start record-wise, but what have you seen from the guys in the first 3 games?
We're obviously, man, timing is everything. You're talking to me at a tough time.
I know. I'm sorry, Coach.
I'm happy to be here. But, no, we're coming off a weekend that we were honored to have the opportunity to be included in the field at that Great Lakes Invitational at Wabash. Really good teams, high-level competition. The Wabash coach is a mentor of mine and a great friend. I was a GA for him for a year, and then I took over at Defiance when he left Defiance to go to Wabash. So a lot of exciting things from the weekend. How we played was not very exciting. Very, very disappointing. Probably as disappointed as I've been in a weekend in my career. I think we obviously didn't shoot the ball well. We've got some pretty good shooters that I think are just missing shots right now. And we kind of let that dictate how hard we played, which is frustrating. And it's honestly, it's a little bit of, usually immature teams kind of go through that. And we don't really have that immature of a group. We have a lot of experience, a lot of guys in new roles, especially in our bigs. But, that was a very disappointing part of the weekend. I think we've always had guys that play extremely hard, that are tough. We weren't real tough. We didn't play that hard. We were a little bit lazy, a little bit uncharacteristic this weekend. So we had a great practice tonight. I love the energy. I do think we've gotten some good feedback in our first 3 games from playing, schematically, defensively, how we're going to play, offensively, we've really struggled to guard. So I do think we've got some good clarity on how to become the best version of ourselves here moving forward, but a tough weekend for sure. We did not only did we lose, but we did not play well. We played very poorly.
So where does that resurgence in effort and defensive intensity start? Who are you looking for on your roster to really be that catalyst to say, it's one thing for you and your coaching staff to say it, it's another for the players to take it upon themselves to say, hey, we don't want that to be representative of Baldwin Wallace basketball. We know we can play better than that.
Yes. That's where it starts. We can talk till we're blue in the face, but, I've been in a jersey. You need the guys in the jerseys to take some ownership. And, we've got some really good seniors. Our 2 senior guards, Anthony Mazzio and Jake Snyder, neither had a great weekend, but I'll take those guys. Yeah, I love those guys. They're about a lot of the things that we want to be about, and they weren't consistently enough this weekend. But I trust those guys, leading us moving forward. And we've got a great test tomorrow night. Penn State Barron they're very good. I think they're really, really well coached. They're hard to guard. They had us beat last year. We beat them at home, but, they outplayed us for 35 minutes. They're very, very hard to guard. They're really disciplined. We are coming off of a weekend where we were incredibly undisciplined, really on both sides of the ball. Lack of patience at times on offense when we needed it, when we were struggling and other teams on a run, and we got to run some offense. And then a lot of undisciplined play defensively, going for fakes, leaving our feet, unnecessary fouls, those type of things. So Penn State Barron is not those things. Right. And it's an exciting challenge, especially coming off of some of the things that we addressed and talked about after the weekend. Pretty cool opportunity, I think, to go play. And listen, we got great guys in our locker room, and I'm grateful to have an opportunity to compete with them. It's fun. This is part of the process. I wish we would have played better, and I think, it starts with me. I've got to do a better job, I think, of putting them in better positions to be successful. We're going to play a little bit different here moving forward. Probably be a little bit more guards on the floor at times, and hopefully play 40-plus minutes every night with extreme urgency, which we haven't done yet.
Is it good to get those lessons out of the way early, though, so you don't have maybe a mid-season lull and you start a little slower, but then you know what you need to work on? You can have that launching point?
Absolutely. A basketball season's a long year. Yeah. You got football; they've got 10 games, and which is a whole other challenge. We have our season's a long season. We're about to have a Thanksgiving break. We're going to have a break at Christmas. You have to grow.
Right.
And constantly evolve, or you don't play your best basketball at the end of the year, which is our goal in basketball. Basketball's a tournament sport. I mean, it's about being your best in February and March. So I'm glad that you said that. I certainly haven't looked at this weekend as a blessing, but that's just part of competition. I think sometimes when you're not playing well, the silver lining is, yes, it's early, but we need to get some of the discipline things corrected and the effort. Usually there's not been very many times where I've watched the film after a game and thought we didn't play very hard. That's very few times have I really ever thought that. And I thought that twice. So we got to get that corrected, number one. And then I love our guys. I mean, we got good guys. They're embracing the journey of this season, and I think we'll be better on tomorrow.
Yeah, and it seems like despite being frustrated, you're still upbeat because of the guys in the locker room, and we want to talk about some of those guys. You mentioned two already in Anthony and Jake. Just how nice is it to have those guys in the backcourt together? In calling some of your games last year, we all know Anthony can fill up the basket.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's better than pretty good. He's really good, averaging 21.3 points a game so far this season. But Jake is kind of that do-it-all guy. He's extremely good at annoying other people's ball handlers, other teams' ball handlers. He's a really hard person to play against. Yeah. He's just a good defensive player, but he's also deceptive because you can forget about him because you have Mazzio that can score, you have Price that can score, you have Simmons doing all sorts of stuff on the court, and Snyder will be left open on a rotation, and bam, he'll hit a three, and it'll just light up the whole bench. I mean, it's really nice to have those guys that you can lean on.
Yeah, I think guard play, you can't, you couldn't overstate the importance of having good guards. I mean, that is basketball, I think, at any level.
I mean, you don't get the ball across half court if you don't have good guards.
You got to have great guards, and those two are as good as they come. I'm really excited for Jake. I think, Maz has he's been pretty good in stretches already. He had a little bit of a nasty fall and a big old volleyball-sized bruise on his hip, but
never fun to
he
play
wasn't
through.
No, he wasn't moving great, but he was still he was effective scoring the ball like he always is. And I'm excited for Jake because he hasn't shot it well. And when Jake's open, I never think he's going to miss.
Right.
And a law of averages say I think some shots are going to fall here pretty soon for him, but those two are where we start. I think Ashton Price is a really good player, and he's obviously in a much bigger role this year as a sophomore. And I would put him in the category with those guys. Those guys have so much more experience. I think Ashton is, as good as him at a lot of things, and those three guys are really where it starts for us. And none of them are shooting it as well as they're going to, which is exciting. Sometimes when you shoot it well, it covers up your mistakes.
Yeah.
And your deficiencies as a team, I think if there is a silver lining, we haven't shot it well.
Right.
We've missed a ton of free throws, So our deficiencies are, it's like a billboard you see from a mile away on the highway. So that's a blessing because I do think we have good shooters. I think we have a good shooting team, and we'll start making shots. So and it certainly starts with those guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Talk about your bigs up front. A little bit different of a lineup than what you've had in previous years, but you get Zoltan Nagy, more action. He started all three games for you, gives you some length up front to help on the boards, and then you get Rob Watson the third off the bench to be that real help with lift the energy up.
Those guys have gotten a ton better, and obviously both are in much bigger roles than they were last year. And I'm proud of how they've handled that. With those guys right now, the biggest thing that we need from them is, we've got, especially this past weekend, we really got hurt on the glass. We got physically, those teams imposed their will physically on us, showed up on the stats sheet for sure, showed up in the paint. And I think those guys' growth in the paint as rebounders, post defenders, shot altering kind of presence will be critical for us. they're both playing really hard, and I respect that. And, I don't think either had a great weekend, but I'll roll with those guys. I mean, they play hard. I think they're both very coachable. And I'd throw Jack Simmons right in with those guys. Like, they're all capable rebounders. And 3 games in, they will be so much better, 15 games from now than they are right now. And I think they've continued to grow, and they've been coachable. And if they can continue to do those things, and we can tighten up a little bit on the glass, we can make a few more free throws, I think things will dramatically improve.
Yeah, when you talk about what Jackson and what Rob can do for the team, after watching them play a good bit last year, I agree with you. Rolling with those guys is never a bad decision. I mean, those guys just bring it, intensity, physicality-wise. They have it, and now it's just a matter of pulling it out of them on a consistent basis.
Yep. Consistency's the word, man. You said it. I think that's what those guys are fighting for, is just consistency. And those bigs in particular, when your 2 exhibition games are against, Cleveland State and Kent State, not exactly the easiest for the big guys.
No, not at all.
The trying to rebound and defend in the paint around some pretty good Division I level bigs. So I think they're going to continue to get better. They're committed. They're pretty tough, and I'm excited to watch them grow.
Yeah. We'll get you out on this question, Coach. Is it nice to not have to stew on the weekend for too long before you get back out on the court? You had a practice today, and you get out there tomorrow in a game setting, and a chance to maybe get some, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe get a little bit of redemption out there from the guys.
It's nice to honestly, after Friday's game against Rose, usually when you watch the film, you feel a little better. Knee-jerk reaction, emotional when you lose. You're like, feels like the world's going to end. You watch the film, and it's not as bad as you thought. It wasn't the case. It was worse. Had a chance to play the next day. It didn't. We didn't really have it. We didn't have a chance to do much.
Right.
We didn't. We weren't much better. But since Saturday night, we've done a lot of work. The coaching staff, the players, they've watched film. We've watched film. I think we have more clarity. And it was really, I feel so much better after practice than I did from Saturday night until about today at 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
just the chance to be around each other and get after it, have a new sense of clarity, new vision a little bit going forward. They're in it, man. They're in it with us. Like, we got a good group. So we had a good practice, and I feel like, that process is college sports.
Yep.
And you got to be doing it and going through it with people that you can count on and you want to be around. And we have guys that I love to be around. And, it's my job I'm the boss. Sometimes I have to push them,
Right.
And today was a day where they definitely needed to be pushed. And I'm excited to compete tomorrow because I just know that we have guys in our locker room that are tough, are capable of playing very, very hard and representing Baldwin Wallace the right way. So tomorrow's our next chance to do that. I don't think we did a great job of that this weekend, but they're ready to do it tomorrow.
All right, well, Coach, thank you very much for the time. I know it's never easy to talk after a couple of losses, but we do appreciate the time and the professionalism.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Appreciate what you do, man.
Yeah, thank you,
Go
Coach.
Jackets.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Jackets. He said it best. That's BW men's basketball coach Tom Heil. The Yellow Jackets looking to even things up at 500 and get their record to 2-2 heading into the Thanksgiving break when they take on Penn State Barron tomorrow on the road. Taking a look at the week ahead for the Yellow Jackets. It's an off week for the women's and men's swimming and diving teams. They'll next be in action on Saturday, December 3rd, when the Yellow Jackets play host to Malone University in the BW Natatorium inside the Lou Higgins Center. Then the wrestlers are also enjoying the long extended Thanksgiving break after having 2 invitationals and their OAC opener within an 8-day period. They get some extended time off and will next be on the mats on Friday, December 2nd, when they host a tri-match against NCAA Division II Tiffin University and NCAA Division III program, the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. in the Ursprung Gymnasium. The Tiffin and UNC Pembroke match scheduled to begin at 5 p.m. with the BW and Tiffin match slated for a 6:30 start. And the Yellow Jackets will end the evening facing UNC Pembroke in the final match of the night starting at 8 p.m. The Yellow Jacket women's basketball team returns to the court tomorrow afternoon when they take on La Roche University. The non-conference game takes place in Pittsburgh and is set for a 5 p.m. tip at the Coach Scott Lang Court. The Yellow Jacket men's basketball team is back in action tomorrow night as well. They'll travel a little bit further north when they head to Erie, Pennsylvania to take on Penn State Bayern in a non-conference game starting at 7:30 p.m. inside the Junker Center. That'll do it for tonight's edition of the BW Athletics Roadshow. Before we get on out of here, I want to send out some thank yous first and foremost to my guests, Wrestling All-American Doug Byrne, Cleveland Basketball Classic founder and Magnificat head coach Danny Gallagher, and a BW men's basketball coach Tom Heil. Thanks also to the sports information and athletic departments here at Baldwin-Wallace for all their work in making this show possible. Thank you to our gracious hosts here at Mike's Bar and Grill, and finally to all of you, the Yellow Jacket fans, both here at Mike's Bar and Grill and those watching around the world. Until next time, I'm Matt Florjancic saying have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and go Jackets.